The Golden State Warriors just haven't been the same without their signature Splash Brothers duo. Ever since Klay Thompson's injury a few years ago, the team has always been missing a major part of itself. And Steph Curry has always been negatively affected by his absence. Let's take a closer look into Klay Thompson, his injury, return timeline, and how it'll open up the floor for Steph Curry. Klay Thompson's career. Despite not having played a single game over the past 2 years, the 31-year-old is already considered a legend by some fans of the NBA. Klay was born in LA in 1990, and he is the son of Michael Thompson, an NBA legend. He started playing basketball at the Santa Margarita Catholic High School, and eventually started playing college basketball for the Washington State Cougars men's basketball team. He ended up becoming WSU's leading scorer for the 2010-2011 season, and their third highest scorer of all time. During the 2011 NBA draft, he was the 11th overall pick, being drafted by the Golden State Warriors. His early years in the team showed he had a lot of promise for growth, and he became one of the team's most consistent players. In 2014, he extended his contract with the Warriors by 4 years, a deal that was worth an estimated $70 million, becoming one of the highest paid players in the NBA. After that, he set an NBA record by scoring 37 points in a single quarter in a game against the Sacramento Kings in January of 2015. Klay Thompson is a 3-time NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors, having won the championships in 2015, 2017, and 2018. He is also a 5-time NBA All-Star, having played at the All-Star Game every single year from 2015 to 2019. The Splash Brothers duo. Playing for the Golden State Warriors, Thompson had made a name for himself as an extremely skilled shooter, who some might argue is amongst the greatest of all time. There was also one other extremely talented shooter on this team, and his name was Stephen Curry. Now, Stephen Curry is a man who needs no introduction. He's one of the highest paid and most successful NBA players of all time. With men being talented shooters playing for the same team, Curry and Thompson often went together like peanut butter and jelly. Curry and Thompson would usually help each other out in scoring three-pointers, something they'd become so notorious for that it actually earned the duo a nickname, the Splash Brothers. During the 2012-2013 season, around the time they had become really comfortable with each other as teammates, Curry and Thompson collectively scored 483 three-pointers, which set an all-time NBA record for the duo. The next season, they broke that record by one more three-pointer, setting a new record. They kept turning it up a notch, and in the next NBA season, they broke that record again, and this time they scored 525 three-pointers. During the 2015-2016 season, they broke that record one last time, scoring 678 three-pointers and permanently cementing their legacy as one of the greatest NBA duos of all time. Both men complemented each other well on the basketball court, and you can argue that, without each other, they're sort of incomplete. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are incredible players on their own, but when they're together in one team at 100%, they're absolutely unstoppable. If the Warriors really do want to continue their success, they need to bring back the Splash Bros. Steph Curry is far from a career decline, but his chances of remaining one of the NBA's top players would be helped out tremendously with the addition of a teammate he knows how to work with, such as Thompson. Both men are of similar age, have had similar career trajectories, and they're both incredibly talented players. In short, they understand each other better than anyone else. Steph Curry has always emphasized the importance of understanding the team and the game, and I think we all know exactly who he's referring to when he's saying that. How he got injured. Klay Thompson at this point was one of the star players of the Golden State Warriors. All eyes were on him, and eventually he wasn't able to live up to the expectations people had of him. When the 2018-2019 season started, Thompson wasn't performing nearly as well as we'd all come to expect of him. No doubt, he was still a great player, but when compared to his performance in previous seasons, there was still a lot left to be desired. During the second game of the 2019 NBA Finals, which saw the Golden State Warriors face off against the Toronto Raptors, Klay Thompson ended up straining himself too much and tore his hamstring on his left leg. He would go on to miss Game 3, the first playoff game he would miss in his entire career. He returned for Game 4 and actually had a decent showing, scoring 28 points despite losing the match. He led the Warriors to victory during Game 5, saving them from elimination. But all of that progress during the season came to an end when, during the sixth game of the series, which would decide the fate of the team, he ended up tearing his ACL on his left knee after a bad landing. This bad landing would put him out of commission for the rest of the match, leading to the Warriors losing the match and being knocked out of the finals. It was announced that Thompson required surgery for the torn ACL he suffered during the match. It's important to note that the torn ACL may have been a direct consequence of the torn hamstring he suffered just a few games prior, in which case his entire left leg may not ever be able to fully recover. The Warriors still put their faith in Thompson and signed him to a $190 million 5-year contract. Thompson underwent surgery in July of 2019, and it went successfully. However, the recovery time meant that Thompson would have to sit out the entire 2019-2020 season, which was a bummer for both fans of Thompson as well as the team itself, especially Steph Curry. His recovery period was officially over before the 2020-2021 season began, and he even started training with the Warriors again in the lead-up to that season. However, right before the season began, Thompson suffered a torn Achilles tendon on his right leg, once again putting him out of commission for the entirety of the season. He suffered the torn tendon during a pickup basketball match in LA, which really led people to doubt whether he'll ever be able to make a full recovery. When he'll return. Thompson underwent successful surgery to heal his torn Achilles tendon in late November 2020, but the recovery time for that was over a year, which means he would be missing out on training and potentially the entirety of the 2021-2022 season. The Golden State Warriors have stated that Thompson is expected to make a full recovery, and while that surely sounds very encouraging, we take that with a grain of salt. Even if Thompson does make it back to the basketball court during this season, he likely won't be on his A game considering he hasn't played for almost 2 years now. Not only will there be rust, but his physical condition won't be as great as before either. Overall, most analysts predict Thompson will make his return around Christmas 2021, unless there is some sort of major setback. Right now, Thompson is most focused on bringing up his conditioning. The 2 seasons he has missed have been hard on him, and there's no doubt that he must be training hard behind the scenes as well. Even if he's not at the top of his game during his return, he would still be an essential component of the team. New additions to the Splash Brothers. With all this talk of Curry and Thompson getting the band back together once Thompson makes his eventual return, there's actually another player on the team that might turn their dynamic duo into a trio. Jordan Poole has been taking Thompson's spot as the starting shooter for the Warriors while he recovers. And many people have also noticed his talent in scoring three-pointers and how well he works with Steph Curry. It almost seems like the young player is a mini version of Klay Thompson. And once Thompson returns, this trio could be Golden State's chance to snatch another NBA championship. Poole has talked about how Thompson has inspired him in the past, and it would be absolutely incredible to see the two actually work together for the first time in their careers. Poole joined the Warriors around the same time Thompson suffered his injury, so the two never really got the chance to show what they could be capable of together. Conclusion. Overall, we shouldn't be too worried about Thompson's condition after he makes his return. The main objective is to restart the Splash Brothers, and maybe even add a third player. Thompson brings a lot of prestige to the Warriors in general, and a few injuries aren't going to stop that. Once he gets rid of some of the rust, he might just bring the team to a whole new level. That's a wrap for Klay Thompson's return. Do you think Klay will be at 100% when he eventually makes his return? Let us know in the comments below.